The U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to announce steep tariffs on steel and aluminium imports. The move, according to experts, is expected to hit producers like China and Canada pretty hard. Reports say that Mr. Trump has already told his aides that he wants to announce those tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminium from all countries. This announcement on trade is expected soon. The president has tweeted multiple times since then. He said that the U.S. is suffering from unfair trade and that there has to be protection brought in for U.S. industry. The move has already caused quite a bit of jittery reactions around the world. The markets in the U.S. itself, with the Dow Jones index down by more than 2%, gives you an indication of how this is going to impact markets across the world. The U.S. imports 4 times more steel than it exports and is reliant on steel from more than 100 countries. The move is already provoking angry reactions around the world. China has asked for caution. Japan, too, has reminded the United States that it poses no threat to its national security through steel and aluminium exports. Analysts have expressed fear that the prospect of new trade wars looms large. Canada has, in the meantime, said that it will retaliate against any U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminium products. It's being seen as many as the biggest economic threat to Ottawa since President Trump took charge of the Oval Office.
Signing it in. I don't blame the other countries. When I was in China, I said, listen, President Xi, I have a lot of respect for President Xi. I said, I don't blame you. If you're able to get away with making almost $500 billion a year off of our country, how could I blame you? Somebody agreed to these deals. And those people should be ashamed of themselves, what they've let happen. So we're bringing it back, and we're going to bring it back relatively rapidly, and we're going to be instituting tariffs. Next week we'll be signing.
So obviously we're following this situation very, very carefully. What I can say is that any tariff or any quotas that would be imposed on our aluminum industry, our steel industry, would be unacceptable. Any such decision would have an impact on both sides of the borders. Canada would obviously take appropriate measures to defend the workers in the steel and aluminum industry, as well as to defend our industry. And what we need to remind ourselves is that the United States has, in fact, a trade surplus with Canada when it comes with steel, about $2 billion. That Canada buys more U.S. steel than any country in the world, and any suggestion that Canadian steel would pose a threat to national security is completely obviously.
Y veremos más adelante si encuentran alguna propuesta, alguna solución. Hasta ahora seguimos donde estábamos, con mucho trabajo pero sin propuestas.